E aí, gente, B.E.D Brewer aqui. Today, we're going to make orange extract, and I'm going to explain why I use orange extract instead of dehydrated orange peel. Now for this, we're going to need an airtight container. We're going to need an orange. I am using a navel orange, but any of the sweet oranges will work. Going to need a zester. We're going to need some gin. You can use vodka, tequila, whatever you want to use to get the flavors that you're interested in. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you how it turned out. Now the first most important thing is to use an organic orange. One of the problems with today's pesticides and herbicides is that they're applied at the roots, so it is then taken into the tree and therefore into your fruit. You cannot really get rid of today's pesticides by soaking, scrubbing, washing. It is now part of the fruit. We want to make sure that we don't have any of those pesticides, herbicides, or any other off flavors that are going into our beer or whatever else you happen to be making with your orange extract. Now, I have been opposed to buying orange peels, dehydrated orange peels, for a while, and it took me a little while to get my head wrapped around why that was, but I finally do have it figured out. Orange peels are garbage, and not just any garbage, it's my garbage. This is stuff that I throw away regularly, and it's sold for $22 a pound for my own garbage. So I am opposed to doing that. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, the extract, since I'm counting the orange peel as garbage, is going to cost us actually $1. I get my gin for $35 for a 1.75 liter bottle, and we're going to use 50 milliliters of the gin in order to pull the extract. That comes out $1 for 50 milliliters. So it's only going to cost us $1 to make this extract. One of the other problems with using dehydrated orange peels is, and I'm not even getting into the fact that you're using something dehydrated and you're boiling it. But when you dehydrate something, you're cooking it generally at about 185 degrees or 165 degrees. And it's staying there for between 6 and 12 hours. I want to say orange peels is about 6 hours. Then you're boiling it for 15 minutes. That's 212 degrees. So you are cooking your orange peels for approximately 6.5 hours. Now what that means is that then becomes the ingredient that has been applied to heat for the longest out of any other ingredient, including your water. When you warm up your hot liquor, it takes about half an hour to get up to temperature. Then you're mashing for an hour, probably sparging for an hour. Then you're applying more heat for about another half hour. That takes us to about 3 hours there. Then we're boiling it for an entire hour, so that takes us up to about 4.5 hours. Then we're cooling it, and we're cooling it probably takes us between half an hour, 45 minutes. So that's a total of about 5 hours. Your orange peels will have been applied to heat for 6.5. That means that all of those delicate flavors that you're trying to protect, they're all gone. Now the third reason why I really don't like to buy dehydrated orange peels is because it's bad for the environment. Not only are you transporting your oranges to whatever location it is, they're peeled, then those peels are transported to another location. You're also buying it in plastic, which you know is just trash and ending up in our oceans and killing seals and all kinds of other stuff, turtles. But it's the environmental cost of transportation, it's the plastic that is wasted, and all of the energy that is spent on dehydrating the orange peel. That's all things that are affecting the environment. In addition, I prefer to use extracts because the extract, the alcohol content, is going to kill everything, whether it's wild yeast, bacteria. It's going to spend 7 days in a death roll in gin. And anything that can survive that is most certainly going to survive the dehydration process, as well as 15 minutes in boiling water, or boiling wort. So, we've got just about all of this done. Now, I do try and avoid as much pith as possible, but the reality is when you buy it dehydrated, you're getting a whole bunch of pith anyway, so you don't have to be crazy about this. A little bit of pith isn't going to hurt anything. do only like to get that zest, and I try pretty hard to make sure that I only get the zest. Now again, I'm using gin because it does mix really well with orange, and I have used 1 orange peel and as many as 3 orange peels. It really doesn't make any difference, and you will also notice that there might be some liquid in here when you get it through here. I do recommend that you use a silicone funnel. That way you can go ahead and get everything squeezed in and you don't run the risk of spilling onto your counter. Again, just kind of push it in and then squeeze it to get all of the orange peel in there. As much as we can get here. Important sanity point, I went ahead and cleaned up my zester right now because if you allow all of those zests to go ahead and dry in the zester, it's going to be a nightmare to clean. So it's always best to go ahead and do that while it's still wet. Now what we're going to do is add in our 50 milliliters of gin. And again, I really like to work with gin because gin and orange really mix well together. But if you want to use this in margaritas to kick them up to the next level, feel free to substitute for silver tequila, or you can use vodka if you don't want to get any additional off flavors or any additional flavors to that. But you can use orange extract to elevate anything from chocolate chip cookies or sugar cookies to cakes, or you can even add it into a mimosa to take it to the next level. So you don't have to only use it for beer. It's a very flexible product. And again, it only costs you about $1 to make it yourself, and you would be throwing away the orange ingredient anyway. Alright, there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and so I'm going to shake it up every day. I'm going to go ahead and clean all of this up, and I'm going to show you what we ended up with. Again, to filter this, I'm going to use my French coffee press because it has a really nice fine mesh screen that allows me to filter up quite a bit. And I can expect that very few solids are going to get back into this. Quite a bit of the fluid is getting stuck behind the pulp. And you can see that we have a really nice orange color. I'm going to actually bring the camera up here so that you can get a good view of this. And I'm going to clean out this bottle because I want to go back into the bottle. Vibrant orange color there. And mine tastes a lot like a gin screwdriver, which is exactly what I was going for. That's the flavor that I want to infuse into my beer. And again, it's going to kind of mix up with whatever alcohol you put into it. So if you want to kick up a margarita, feel free to go with tequila. You can go with vodka if you're just interested in the orange flavor, or you can go with something like rum or even whiskey. So if you enjoyed today's episode, give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to learn more about beer dispensers, homebrewing ingredients, or homebrewing equipment, start now and hit subscribe. And until next week, aren't you glad I didn't make a bad pun today?